Hello and welcome to Are You an Authentic Leader? The second webinar in the Authentic Leadership series. Today's agenda, meet the presenter, myself, then a quick review of authentic leadership from webinar number 1, a discussion about the type of leader you might be, and finally, summary and next steps. Meet the presenter. I am Laurie Levy. I hold a doctorate in industrial organizational psychology, in addition to being a project management professional and a Scrum Master. I have a background in software development, project management, work management, and have deployed and staffed many project management offices. Currently with Advisicon, I am the Vice President of Business Development Innovation and Project Delivery. All right, let's recap what we might have learned in the first webinar on authentic leadership. Right, first of all, what is authentic leadership? As you can see from the bullets on the screen, it's a type of leadership style. The emphasis is on a clear and consistent set of values through actions and words. These values may promote trust, loyalty, and high performance in followers and employees. And authentic leadership is part of organizational change management and transformational leadership processes, where the emphasis is on trust, collaboration, and engagement. What are the characteristics of an authentic leader? Well, they can be summed up in 4 basic components. Self-awareness, right? Being comfortable in your own skin. Relational transparency, right? Not having a particular agenda when you communicate with others, when you interact with others. Balanced processing. You're able to analyze and synthesize data from multiple sources before you make a decision. And finally, authentic leaders exhibit a strong moral code. So you have personal core values and you act on them. Why is authentic leadership important? Because authentic leaders feel comfortable in their own skin, teams tend to respond to that within organizations, and their collaboration and communication efforts are more effective. It stands to reason that authentic leaders are genuine, transparent, and responsive to organizations' needs. Ethics are important, and that transparency is probably the most needed during times of change in an organization. Authentic leaders really do act on the values in which they believe. So that's the recap. That's what we discussed during webinar number 1. What is authentic leadership? What are the characteristics of an authentic leader, and why is it important? Today, we want to discuss what type of leader are you? Are you an authentic leader? In order to do that, we really need to think about the 2 main types of leaders' behaviors, right? Many leadership models are present, but they can effectively be put into one of 2 types of leadership behavior categories. There is the task-oriented leader behaviors. And here, the emphasis is on getting things done, right? So think of many workers that or followers that have things to do. The focus is on getting those things done. And often, those may be around what the organization sees as its goals. A great example of a transactional leader in a business is anything to do in manufacturing, where the success of the organization depends on the number or type of items it produces. Often in a transactional leadership mode, a system of rewards and punishments is often used to motivate employee performance. So, for instance, a great example of a reward, especially in a business that counts things or produces things or objects for others, the employees that can produce the most are incented to keep doing that. If an employee falls behind in their targeted volume, then there may be a punishment of some sort, also as a reward, just not quite as positive. Again, this type of leadership behavior is referred to as transactional leadership. Relationship-oriented leader behavior is a little bit different. In this leadership style, the focus is on creating interactions with followers or relationships with followers. This doesn't necessarily mean that a leader will want to be friends or companions to their followers, but creating positive interactions that lead to a relationship with followers is the goal. Again, the emphasis is on forming those relationships positively, positive relationships, and the foundations are trust, respect, and confidence. This type of leadership behavior is referred to as transformational leadership. In other words, we're transforming how people view themselves and view their job or their tasks. Authentic leadership is a subset of transformational leadership. So which one of these is better? Is transactional or transformational leadership a better leadership style to adopt? And the answer is not simple. It often depends on the situation. Here we note that an effective leader may use both transactional and transformational leadership behaviors depending on the situation. That is a leader who can adapt, adjust, and overcome adversity or respond to changing business environments or the like. Many studies have been done comparing transactional and transformational leadership styles. Some of them say that transactional leadership behaviors just by themselves in the appropriate organizations are successful for 40% of the time, all things being equal, while businesses who utilize both authentic leadership as well as other leadership styles, such as transactional, are successful 87% of the time. So clearly building the relationships with followers and employees is important. Authentic leadership behaviors, generally speaking, lead to more positive outcomes with employees or followers. And some of those positive outcomes include better or more improved commitment to the organization, increased performance on the part of employees or followers, and greater trust exhibited by followers, no matter what the situation. This is really important if an organization is undergoing some sort of change in response to the business community or business situation around them. In particular, when a company needs to downsize or shut down or any combination of those things, it's much, much easier if employers have the trust of those that are working there and other followers. And the positive side of that is that that trust and that organizational commitment, those positive outcomes that an authentic leader manages to produce in employees or followers tends to be a longer term than in transactional leadership behaviors. So if followers or employees trust in their leader and trust that they are who they say they are and do what they say they're going to do, that trust is longer lived and more effective in followers and employees. So how do you know if you are an authentic leader? Samutri Das, in a 2022 paper, suggests that you ask yourself 4 questions. Are you willing to admit your mistakes and failures to your team? Do you put your personal values into practice by doing what is right, even if it is difficult or unpopular? Does everything you say align with who you really are? And finally, are your actions consistent with your words? If you can answer yes to these questions, then you are definitely on the way to being an authentic leader. These 4 questions really cover the 4 characteristics of an authentic leader. That feeling comfortable in one's own skin, being comfortable with who you are. Do you have a moral code of some sort that you follow that reflects your personal values? Can you take in multiple sources of information before making a decision and give it the analysis that it's due? And does everything you say align with who you are and with your actions? So to wrap things up here, transactional leaders will focus on getting the job done for the organization, which may be absolutely necessary in certain situations. They often use rewards, punishments, and different incentives to inspire and motivate staff. Transactional leaders, just by using those rewards, punishments, and incentives, can often get followers and employees to change their behavior. But it's not a guarantee that followers actually trust their leaders, nor are they committed to maintaining that change. And finally, transactional leadership often gets employees and followers to produce results quickly in terms of what the organization needs, but they may not be able to sustain it over time. Authentic leaders are those who demonstrate transparent behavior to build trust-based relationships. They have a strong sense of personal integrity. They're comfortable with who they are. They carefully analyze information to minimize bias or mistakes. And they promote collaboration and communication across teams. So for our next steps, we've seen definition of authentic leadership. We've figured out if you might be an authentic leader. Our next 2 workshops will focus on becoming an authentic leader, because it is something you can learn. And then the relationship finally between work management and authentic leadership. Thank you very much for your time. Have a great day.